Right. My AI just changed. It just buzzed the front gate. Thank God you came. How many more days could I wait? I made plans with you, and I won't let them fall through. I think I lie for you.
Hey, hold on. Where is it? Take a few minutes. Hey, you guys, what is up? Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I have been catching up, honey. Let me tell you something. If you ain't got the ID channel, if you ain't got it, get the app. Whoever you got, sign up with them, however you got to, because, baby, there are really putting it on for the evil lives here. And I wanted to do this story because in this episode 18, season 18, episode 7, I was on TikTok scrolling, going through something, and this story caught my eye. It's a very beautiful, not only beautiful, but I'm not gonna say beautiful in the beginning. It was beautiful and it turned deadly, bringing in the wrong person into the home. This mom who is beautiful, mother of 5. Her name is Consquelo. I hope I say her name right. Consquelo Baker. Consquelo Baker is from Oakland, California. She moved to Arizona with her 4 children at the time. Her 2 youngest daughters, you have Shakoya Anderson and her little sister, the second oldest, Imani Coleman. Now they were on the show. They were, talking about their mom, and how Shakoya says she's the oldest of 5. At the time, it was 4. So I believe they had a brother also. I believe it was 3 girls and a boy at the time, right? And she moved to Arizona. The mom was 32 years old at the time of her passing. She met this man here named Isaiah Patterson of Arizona, and basically she was dating him. So when Shakoya remembers at the time of meeting him, she says she came home from school one day and he was there. And she was, I believe her mom was 30 at the time when they met him. Shakoya was 11, okay? And they was 11 years old, and the stepfather at the time, Isaiah, was 60-something years old at the time. Now, remind you, this is 2025, so y'all know Isaiah is probably in his 70s. He's locked up for death row for this unaliving of their mother. She recalls them moving from Oakland in 2000 and moving to Arizona. And she said the relationship, she said she's the oldest of 5, and her and Imani recalled the relationship with their mom. It was great. There was, they could talk to their mom about anything. Everything was wonderful until this man came along. So when he came along, they knew that he was fake. They knew it. Hey, Miss AC, right? They knew he was fake. Like he was in the kitchen all hugged up on their mom, and when they met him, he tried to be nice, but they the vibe that they got at a young age of Isaiah was it was like I don't deal with you, right? So they noticed that he was there and things like that. He was being fake. Their first reaction with him was not great. Time comes along, Isaiah moves in with their mom and the daughters. And from Imani recollection was one day Shakoya said she started seeing the signs a little bit, but it started getting worse as he was moving in, and the red flags and those signs were starting to show. So, he moves in, Imani goes in. She always barges to her mom's room. And she was like, she want to have a conversation with their mom. And then she was like, hey, mom. She barged in the room. And here comes Mr. Evil Knocker himself. Baby, he pushed her out the door, not now, and closed the door in her face. Imani said for the first time she felt like my mom ain't gonna do nothing. Like, my mom ain't gonna say nothing. Like, what's going on? Like, she never had that experience, right? And she was just confused by it all. And basically, I wish I could play it. Let me go to it. Let me look up this person on TikTok because I want y'all to hear a little bit of it. Um so basically, let me go to Auntie Pooh page. And Imani felt some type of way. So Imani was like, like, okay. And there were times where, like, Shakoria said that she felt like they were being shut off from their mom after a while, and they weren't used to that. Like, they're used to coming to their mom to talk to their mom and doing things for her and stuff like that. And she felt like her and Imani both felt like Isaiah just wanted the control and the time away. He didn't want her to be with her kids. Like, that's how they felt. Like, they just felt like he came in, the relationship with their mom was null and void. And stuff like that. So let me see if I can pull it up. Cause so at that time they just felt like they were competing, right? They felt like they were competing with their mom. But what they didn't know was Isaiah was really controlling and abusive to their mom behind closed doors. And Shakoya felt like he was being very possessive as a partner, telling her what to do. There was a lot of things he did. We're gonna get into what he did, and some of the stuff he did was very, very disgusting. And it's not what y'all think, but it was very disgusting for him to do. They started noticing his temper. They started to experience a temper. So, you know, and they were saying, Shakoya was saying how, her little sister was the baby of the family. And she took to him because she was so young, their baby sister at the time. Like, he would give her candy. She was his friend and all that stuff. But she remember her and her sister came home from Imani, wrong person. Imani came home from school one day and there was a donut wrapped up in a napkin. And so what happened was Imani, it was on the table. So, they both sitting here talking about it because he was there. And then they were, Imani was like, we should ask Isaiah for the donut, right? So this is for the little sister and her. So the little sister go ask him for it. He said that she can have it, she could eat the donut. So Imani walks by and see the little sister eats the whole donut, and she gets upset and was like, "You know, I wanted some. Why didn't you give me any?" Girl, tell me why this man got mad because she tapped on the hand barely. Like, why would you do that, girl? You should have gave me some like that. He got mad. He jacked up Imani by her arm, and he hit her so hard to the fact that Imani basically was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like she was didn't know how long the hits were. So Imani was like, after that, if he come home, she say I would go in my room. She said I would be steer clear of him. She said from that day forward, I was scared to even say anything or do anything or be around him. So Imani was like, she go to her room and mind her business. And basically Imani was basically saying like, I ain't fucking with, you know what I'm saying? Like basically she ain't, no, bro, like ain't nothing he could say or do, for all of that to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to a child, she was just like, no. Yeah, it's very sad. Um, so as time go on, they noticed that things changed in the home. And Shakoya felt like she was robbed from her mother. She said she helped everybody else get ready for prom and all that, and she started breaking down because she felt like she didn't get that. She didn't get a chance for that. Remember, she had to be probably 12, 13, probably 12 or 13 years old, maybe 14. She didn't get that from her mom like everybody else did. And so she said this time she was having a school recital and she was so happy to have it, so happy to be with her mom. She said because this was the time her mom could do her hair in the microwavable curls. You know, there was a thing then still in the early 2000s. And, they were really close. Like she could do stuff like that for her. And, just get her dressed for her recital and stuff like that without Isaiah being in the picture. She said everything was good to that point. And she saw her do things for her cousins for graduations and for proms, and she missed out on that. She was like, took that from her. He was evil as hell, and he took that from her. Like he snatched that away. Like they couldn't do that. Like all her kids never got the experience to take care of that. So she said one day, Shakoya was saying that one day, you know what I'm saying, like their house had rats. And if you lived in Arizona and it's very hot, rats, scorpions, and snakes look for a cool place to live. Arizona is basically the desert. So, she said they had rat traps, and she would tell him, like, listen, because they would come in the house because it's so hot. So, believe me, weather in Arizona get up to 120, 130. That's very hot. And they had rat traps or whatever. So, the mama they set the rat traps up and everything. And she was telling him, like, listen, I need you to get those up before the girls, for my kids get up because that would scare them. Shakoya said one day they all got up, they all got dressed to go to the bathroom to get ready for school. And that man, she says she saw a rat in a sink, a rat in a toilet, and a rat in a tub. Deceased rats. And they all believe that he put those rats in there to scare them and antagonize them. She specifically, hey, she specifically told him to get them rats and take them out to dispose him. He did not. He did not dispose of them. So she will recall seeing like dead mouses in the bathroom, and they're literally in the sink, literally in the toilet, in the bath. Like he just placed them in there. Like, oh well, that's trash. So she runs out screaming, crying, and everything. Her and her sister, and they took off running, took off crying and stuff. And they were shaking up because they're like, "What the hell?" They say, "Man, all they know is Isaiah came by the door and started laughing, and he thought it was funny. He thought it was hilarious to see them screaming and crying about a rat, dead mouse that he planted there that morning because he thought it was funny, just to terrorize them, just to terrorize him. And then Imani said that they came home from school and they learned that their mom was pregnant with their younger brother from Isaiah. So they was upset because they was like, dang, now he really gonna be here. Um, I'm not sure. I think one of their aunts helped raise the youngest son after the situation, real evil. And I want to say that he is in college. He is a basketball player. He's doing exceptionally well. So shout out to them for that. He's doing awesome. And she said that, they felt like they weren't gonna get rid of him once they told him. They say the issue wasn't the fact of their little baby brother. It was just him, and they wanted them to break up. They didn't like him. They felt like he would terrorize them. He was they did not stand him. Like, and I understand it. And they was just so upset. And they showed a picture to Shakoya of the mom, him, and she scratched his face out in their little baby brother. She was like, she remembers, she was like, yeah, that's him, but I scratched his face out with my baby brother. She said he never acknowledged my baby brother as his baby or his child. He always said the baby. She said she remembers recalling that he didn't help with the baby, or it was that baby. He never helped change the diaper. He never did, like, he act like, oh, okay, a baby here, so what you want me to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't involved with nothing. She said that she hates Isaiah, but she hates anything with his existence except her brother. She loves her brother. But as far as he go, she can't stand him. She will never ever take a chance to forgive for what he's done. So she said, she felt, kind of unwanted and lost because she, at the time, she didn't understand that he was basically, he took their mom away from them, meaning he had her so scared and things like that to where her relationship with her kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was affected. And when I was hearing this story, I was like, oh my God, like, if she only knew her mom was really getting abused, like, it came out to tell that her mom was in an abusive relationship, like, behind closed doors. He seemed, and even though she's smiling and okay, he's really in there. I believe behind closed doors, he was putting them paws on their mama. Like, literally, while them kids are asleep, he's really putting her through hell. And there's no telling what else happened because this woman is not here to live to tell her truth. And it's sad. So, she say she felt like at the time he was already taking her away, like separating her. And she said, at a time she would just cut him out. Like, he wasn't in existence to her in her mind. He wasn't a thought. And they started to know it was starting to grow worse because their mom would leave the house. So a lot of people was like, to answer questions to why would their mother leave them with him? Let me explain something to y'all. She probably was trying to get herself together because from what Shakoria was saying, and we're going to get to it, he was the main provider in the home. He paid the bills and rent. He set it up to make her feel comfortable to do that. She was trying to figure out how to get her kids safe so her and her kids won't be separated. And on top of that, her kids would feel safe. She knew, so she was like, if she left, I believe she would leave in a day to go figure something out, trying to do something to get them safe. And around that time in the early 2000s, it was very tabooish to have certain things around that time because the world was going through, America was going through a recession, things were going on, so it affected a lot of things. So I believe that she was trying to get them somewhere safe, and we're going to get into how he still stopped her. And we're going to keep going. So Isaiah abuse grew very, very bad. So one day their mom had left, and she had her baby brother. Yeah, it's my show too. She had her brother, and she's sitting on the bed. Her and her siblings, everybody, they got up and got dressed. And he asked her where was her mom, and she was like, I don't know. And he got mad. He was like, you know where your mom at? So he went on a rampage, breaking. He took all. So that's before. I'm sorry, I'm moving quick. So he got mad when he didn't know where she was. He took all the furniture out the house. He took a hammer and broke all the furniture. He got mad. He took it all out and he was just breaking it with the hammer, breaking it, destroying it, everything else. And it was outside. I believe it was a weekend. They were home and everything, and they were kind of scared because Imani was like, he acted like a madman, and that was the first time she saw him just start breaking stuff. Like he was just tearing stuff away and everything. And in her mind, she thought he was going to attack her older sister and her little sister because she's the middle. And she thought he was going to attack because the way he was just sitting there breaking the hammer, because he felt like they knew where their mom was and didn't say anything. And she said that the fact that while he was doing it, Shakoria was like, he would make eye contact with them. He would look them dead in their eyes while he was doing that, like breaking it and looking dead in their eyes. And just kept like, you ain't gonna answer me. You're not gonna tell me where she is. And she said he didn't have any emotions. He was blank stared or whatever. The glasses on the tip of his nose. Shakoria is holding the baby. So he goes and try to grabs the baby. And the neighbors were across the street. He was like, what you coming over here for? Because she was sitting there watching him. He was like saying that he'll do something to the baby and he not going to let the baby grow up like them and all this and that. He ain't going to let his child be raised. So he was going to take the hammer and beat the baby down, unalive the baby while his sister was holding him. And that lady from the neighbor, she said, no, you not. She said, over my dead body, you ain't. And he backed up, he dropped it, and he ran. He sure did. He sure did. So when he ran or whatever, they just didn't understand why he was angry. Their mama went home. The neighbor was standing there looking. And I feel like the mama was really hitting pause. I don't know why. The mama was trying to get away. The mama was trying to get away. And I believe she was doing it in secret. And from that day forward, Shakoria had a hate for him that nobody, like, if you could tell her one good thing about him, Shakoria wouldn't give a damn. Shakoria say that day she hated him. She hated that man guts. She wouldn't care. So after that happened, a couple of days go by, and his jealousy was going, and he was starting to get paranoid. And the mama was not home. So she was there watching. Shakoria was watching the baby doing her homework. He came in her room. He asked her where her mama at, and she said, I don't know where she is. And he was like, where's your mom? And she said, I don't know. Like, she don't know. I know she told you not to tell me where she went at. She said, I don't know. He was like, oh, so you lying for her? She said, I don't know where she's at. I don't know. Baby, tell me why he started picking at her. He picks up because he know for a fact. He said, oh, so we going to play these games. He picks up the baby. Triggers Shakoria. Shakoria like, oh, hell no, because I remember what you said the last time. Shakoria like, And she said he knew that it would get a rise out of her. Baby, he picked up the baby. And she kept telling him to give me the baby back. He kept walking with the baby. And stuff like that. So she had a bat, like a steel bat under her bed. She pulled it out. And he started laughing and joking and walking out with the baby. So she kept saying, give me the baby. And she said it felt like a demon was taking over because he was just standing there with the baby, like, what you gonna do with that? Like, she kept saying, give me my baby brother back. He kept going. So She said the reason why she picked up the bat because she remembered him saying that he wasn't gonna be raised by them and he didn't want to. So he looked at her like whatever, walked out with the baby. So she had no clue what he was doing. Baby, Shakoya said she ran behind him. They go outside. She said she keep asking him for the baby. He's not giving her the baby. So she followed him with the bat. So she said one thing he loved was his car. So as he ran outside with the baby, and she started chasing after him to get her brother back. So when they got outside, she knew he loved his car so much. So she looked at the car. She said, "Put my baby brother down," and he looking at her snickering. She say, "Put him down." He laughing, thinking it's a joke. She say, "You don't put him down," because she knew he loved that car. She say, "I'm gonna break every window in this car if you don't give me my baby brother back." So he sat there and he was like, let him go and everything. So he just sitting there laughing. He said, "Please, don't." His sister was so Imani came out. I'm sorry, and Imani was like, "No, Shakoya, don't." Like she thinking, like, "Please, Shakoya, don't break this man window in his car because we don't know what he gonna do." So then he gave her the baby. He put the baby down. He put him down. He say, "If you touch my car, I'm going to jail." So he gave her the baby. He said, "I'm not afraid to catch a case." Gave her the baby. And before she even got the baby, he held that bat up. And he gave him to her. He gave her the baby and he ran off. Now, this is where it gets kind of crazy. And this is where everybody start. I think the kids starting to know that, because he put the baby on the ground like the baby was nothing. She ran and picked the baby up. So Imani recalls this, y'all. And this was sad. Imani said one day she came home and her mom was sitting at a folded table and she said, "Hey, Mom," and she noticed her front tooth was missing. Her front tooth was missing. And she saw that her front tooth was missing in her mouth. And she didn't say anything. She looked away and she asked what happened. And she said the baby had butt her in her mouth. But she said it was an accident. She's good. She's fine now. So Imani went and tells Shakoya. It's on ID channel, HBO Max, I think. She went and told Shakoya. And Shakoya said that baby didn't do that. Isaiah knocked the tooth out her mouth. And she was like, "What?" She was just looking at her. But Shakoya is the oldest. So around this time, Shakoya is a teenager. And then Imani looked back and she was just in shock because she never heard this situation. "You're welcome," or whatever. And so she was shocked. So as time go on, things started to get crazy after a while. Um, from what she was saying was he was the breadwinner. And she tried to end it with from what Shakoya was saying, their mom was trying to end it with Isaiah. So they would come, she'll be arguing about why did you cut the lights off? Why did you cut the water off? There were times, good afternoon. There were times they had no food. There were times that he knew they didn't have it and he would leave. They had no lights, they had no water. So at the time, because he was a breadwinner, they got evicted. And around the time they got evicted, Shakoya said she went to live with her aunt. Her mother and her little brother went to live with their other aunt. Her other siblings went to California. Everybody was split up. They missed each other. They didn't see each other at all because they got evicted. And, she felt kind of hurt and she barely saw her mom. So the day her mom got unalived, she came to the house, to her auntie's house. She came and saw her and she said she remembers seeing her mom. This is what her mom looked like. Okay? The light gorgeousness in her eyes. And she said that she went to see her mom. Her mom was very skinny. Her mom eyes were sunken in. Her mom was stressed because Isaiah would come to her aunt's house looking for her. He would come to the house threatening her, stalking her, trying to figure out where she is, what she have going on. And so she went to see Shakoya. And as she went to see her, Shakoya said that she asked her, was she okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay. She said, I want to spend the night with you. We haven't spent time together in a while. I would like to spend time with you. And she promised Shakoya that she would pick her up that Friday, right? She was going to pick her up. They're going to watch a movie. Everything's going to be great. Well, she didn't get to pick up her daughter. Shakoya said that from what she would say, she was riding in a car with her cousin. And as she's riding in a car with her cousin gets a phone call. She's taking her to school. She's sitting in the back behind her cousin so she could see her face in the rearview. And her cousin was on the phone with her mom. And she heard her cousin say, what? And started crying. She says, the baby okay? She said, yeah. Now, at the time, the baby is 3 years old. Okay, so remind you, Shakoya is probably what, 13, between 13 and 15 years old. And she's saying, okay, is my mom okay? And she said no. And she said she just lost it because she just wanted to get to her to check on her mom, to see her, like to see if she's okay. To you know what I'm saying? Like she felt like Shakoya felt like I failed. Like I was trying to protect my mom and I failed. That's how she felt. And I understand because I know that feeling. She's saying around that time she felt lost and alone from what she understands. Let me see if I can find that audio. Um from what she understands, that basically what happened was, while I'm talking to y'all, that basically he asked her to come see, can she come and bring the baby? She decided to go take him to see the baby. So as soon as she got there, he's starting to beat her. As soon as she brought the little 3-year-old around, he started to beat her. From what she understands, she ran outside. She ran out the door and start banging on the neighbor's door, asking for help, and nobody opened the door. So he grabbed a butcher knife and came outside. She was running, and as she slipped on some red grass, he came behind her and stabbed her repeatedly until a neighbor said, hey, stop. And she collapsed on the ground and she died. So they go inside. He makes a 911 call. He tells the 911 dispatcher that he unalived before he did that, I'm sorry. He walked, and when the man told him to stop, he looked at the man and said, that's what you do to a wife that you hoe that you turn into a wife, a housewife. And walked into the house, made the 911 call. Once he made the 911 call, this man told the 911 dispatcher that he unalived his wife. And if they don't come, he's going to unalive the baby. And this is what he had on the night he was arrested and taken into jail. There were numerous of phone calls. She passed away. They had a service for her, and Shakoya said she felt lost. She felt alone. She felt like she didn't have anybody because she lost her mother. And she said that the reason why she believes he called 911 was because her uncles that are in Oakland would have, and if you know Oakland and Arizona, not that far. They would have made a trip from Oakland and they would have found him and it would have been done for him. So him going into prison was just a protection. They had a party for her. They say they missed their mom. They're still moving forward. They are now adults and they're hurt. They're still carrying it. They're still trying to find a subtle of peace with this because of what they went through. And it took a lot for them. But there was so much. This is him now. So much anger. I'm going to see if I can find that call. And see if I can find that phone call. but he is now serving the death penalty in Arizona. Um, you know, and she thought, that the kids thought it was over before he did that. They thought it was over. Let me see. They recently celebrated their mom's birthday. Let me see. Hold on, here go the calls. He told her he wanted to see his son. When she got over there, he began to beat her. Oh, he's evil. And my mom was trying to fight that. She ran out of the apartment. She was beating on the doors of all the neighbors. Nobody opened the door. 911 emergency. Yes, there's a woman who's screaming at the top of her voice, and there's a little boy saying, "Oh, daddy, oh, daddy." Isaiah came out of the house with a knife, and my mom saw him, and she took off running, and she slipped on the wet grass. He stabbed her continuously, all over, from her arm to her face, her neck, all over her body. It is Consquelo Baker. It's called Demon in His Eyes, I believe. That's what the episode is called. He continuously did this until one of the neighbors opened the door and yelled, "Hey, stop." He looked at the neighbor and he said, "That's what happens when you try to turn a hoe into a housewife." And my mom collapsed right there from her looks. Isaiah walked back into the apartment where my brother was, called 911 and told them, y'all need to get here quick because I just cut my son's mom. I have my 3-year-old son here, and if you don't hurry up, I'll do something else. And you're in a violent act? Yeah. What did you do? Well, my wife, I cut her with a $50, but I know that he been treating me all too long. I couldn't take her more. So he stayed on the phone until the police got there. Okay, I can book this door now. Go ahead and hang up. Okay, go ahead. I believe Isaiah stayed there after calling 911 because he knew there would be street justice. And I know for a fact that's not what he wanted. There was nowhere for him to go. The only thing that was left for him to do was to turn himself in. Okay, so that is them celebrating their mom's 50th. Earlier this year, Shakoya and her sister did go retrieve their mom's. Let me see. And I followed the other daughter as well. She followed me back. Their mom's belongings. And their birthday. I'm gonna show y'all what they did for their mom's 50th birthday. They had a big party for her. I'm gonna tell you about. This was January this year. She would have been 50 years old. They are coping. They're doing okay. This is what she had to say.
She was about 32 years old. She left behind 5 children. We were all really young when it happened. It was extremely traumatic and something that you will hear more about sooner or later. But these are my siblings and a couple of the grandkids for my mom. But recently, my older sister, she's always wanted to get my mom's purse back because her purse was picked up at my mom's murder scene, crime scene, and put into evidence. And my sister knew about it, and she's always wanted it. So fast forward 2025, we got the purse holiday. We got the purse. Woo! So this is my sister getting the purse. We ripped that bag open.
Yeah, so they got their mom belongings from there. They have been doing a. Let me tell you something. I'm proud of them. They've been doing a lot of traveling. Um, they've just been seeing the world, and they're living like they believe their mother would live. They are coping with it. They are just doing the best they can with the situation. Let me see. They're not really on. Because I followed. Here she go. They're not really on social media like that. So I want to show y'all what she had to say about some of the people that were saying negative things about their mom's story.
What's up, y'all? I just wanted to come on here and say a few things. First, let me start by saying I am not a big social media person. I don't do this social media stuff like that. I'm not an influencer. Never tried to be an influencer. So this is really out of character for me. However, the episode aired about Isaiah, my mom, and with me and my sister Imani telling our story. And it's been a lot of conversation, okay? A lot. Negative for the most part, but it's been some good that came from it as well. Like, I do really, really appreciate the positive comments and the positive messages I've been getting in my DMs. Like, I see y'all. I know I haven't responded. It's because I really don't know what to say, but I do really appreciate the kind words that we've been getting. The prayers and everything continue. Please continue to pray for all of us. Like I said on the show, we go through a lot emotionally still to this day. For the people that made comments talking about, oh, child, please, you could just speak to a therapist. The thing is, I was 16 years old when my mom was murdered. I'm about to be 36. I'm 35 years old. I grew up in an environment where there was no help. There was no therapy, get a therapist. There was none of that. I was never able to properly grieve along with a lot of my siblings. We were never able to properly grieve or even get the things that we needed to help us grieve or whatever. So let's just start there. So those insensitive comments, like, y'all should really think about what you say before you comment those type of things. As far as my mom being on drugs and her being a coward, like, y'all whack. I'm saying it, y'all whack. You don't know. My mom was far from a coward, which is why we never really understood how things got so far. If you knew who my mom was, you would understand and you would know she's far from a coward. And as far as drugs, please, my mom has never done drugs a day in her damn life.
I don't believe her mom was on drugs. I truly believed her mother were trying to, I'm gonna be honest, she was trying to let them see what's going on without saying what's going on, and then she was trying to figure out how to get them out of it, all of them. But it didn't end up that way. We don't know what shelter she has went to. We don't know what job she tried to find. She was trying to get away. Probably talking to her sisters, probably coming up with a plan just in case something happens to her. That's what their mom was doing.
Are you serious? My point of saying what her appearance was is explaining, like,
The drain.
internally the things that she was going through started to reflect on the outside. It had nothing to do with drugs at all. And then for her, how could she leave her kids with him? How could she leave her kids with a monster? Oh, she just wanted to keep a man. Like all of that, that's whack. That's far from the truth. Okay. Isaiah was not, we weren't left with Isaiah. Isaiah was gone.
Mm-hmm.
He will be gone.
And she says that she was there watching them, watching the kids and stuff. You know, he wasn't there. He was going looking for their mother, trying to track her down. Because I believe Isaiah knew she was trying to leave.
On at work or whatever he's doing. My mom had the right to leave the house at times. Okay. The show shows me at one age the whole way through. What y'all don't realize is we met Isaiah when I was 11 years old. My mom was killed when I was 16. So do the math. Okay. I was old enough to watch my siblings at times. So that narrative, my mama being on drugs and how could a woman leave her kid? Like, stop. What y'all don't realize is this is a show. You're not going to get every single detail.
Right.
Just like on the part where the neighbor came up, what they didn't tell or show, which I did tell, was that the neighbor had a pistol. Her name was Miss Rose. Rest in peace to Miss Rose. Miss Rose had a gun. That's why he took off. Also, we told the story, but it wasn't in the show because the show was only so long. The police was there, but they couldn't do anything because he paid for the property that he did destroy. So before y'all get on the internet spinning a narrative about my mom, please stop, because y'all don't know the details. And honestly, all the details are not even out there for y'all to research. So just stop. It's super insensitive. Y'all need to understand she has 5 kids. Not only that, to y'all, I might be young or a little girl, whatever the case is, but I'm 35 years old and I have 2 kids of my own and I have a teenage son and my daughter is 10 years old. They see the stuff on the internet as well. So that means like y'all is just sick. This type of stuff that is said. And usually I don't even let stuff get to me like that, but it's getting out of control. It's getting out of control. But again, I just want to thank the people who showed us some type of grace and support or whatever the case is. And now I understand why when people get on TV or do reality TV or whatever, they say stay out of the comments, because y'all really be trying to thing is like y'all just see a little clip on TV and y'all run with it. Like y'all don't know people like that for real. And I'm so thankful that I am a strong-minded individual, because I would have crashed out on y'all from the beginning. But it's not worth it because y'all behind keyboards and all of that stuff. So again, the ones that did it, we saw the comments, me and my siblings, and we even looked at some of y'all profiles, and it's like y'all, the audacity. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
The audacity to even be speaking up on somebody's situation. But I do want to say that with this experience, it really showed me how people really don't have any type of like y'all don't care about people, especially.
All right, y'all can go watch the rest on there. I'm gonna say this. I know her pain, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think about my friend who passed away. She left behind her 2 twins were toddlers at the time. The other one was 5. I think about them every day. She passed away. It'll be 10 years ago on the 1st of October. I think about her on her birthday. I think 25th to be exact. Yeah, it'll go on 12 years. Yeah, I think about her every day. I understand her pain, and I don't try to get emotional when I say this. I get worried about her kids because her 2 youngest babies got robbed from their mom, and the oldest only have so many memories at 5. I think about if they're going to know the truth. I think about the daughter because she only had one girl. I think about that a lot. I think about her mom because I'm not sure if if they see the kids, but I think about, her mom still going through. I saw her mom page recently and she hates that man for taking her daughter. So I understand. And from what I understood, my friend passed away the same way that this woman, their mom passed away. I think about that because these children got robbed of their mother. They didn't get it. They're robbed with somebody that was in their face every day. My friend would have been 37 years old come October 1st. She has left this earth the day of her 25th birthday. She never got to, she probably got an experience 2-3 hours of it, and it was fighting for her life until he took her life. And this is why I encourage young ladies, and this is why I go so hard about dating properly, knowing who you with, because a person can wear a mask only for so long. And I try to tell stories of this because the numerous of women, if you research, that have passed on by the hands of the person they sleep next to, who are their enemy. It's wild. This is every hour. It is outrageous. And then grooming of young girls, it is crazy. And it just mind boggles me because as long as they don't pass a test of anything, they will look harder for Elizabeth. They will look harder for any Black, brown, or Latina child. And it saddens me. My friend, she was trying to get away from him. She was trying to leave. It was very abusive. There were times I remember she told me one day, that he choked her out in her bed. And I was on the phone with her. She called me. She was scared. She was like, I never seen him like that. Like, I couldn't breathe. And I had to pry his hands off my neck. And they were apart for a minute. They got back together. It was always broken promises. He's now serving life in prison. I don't know if he see his kids. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But at one point I was mad because the judge granted his mother to have the children. But now that I'm older and I'm looking at what the judge is doing, the judge is making his life suffer, if you think about it, because he has to explain that to his kids. My friend's daughter, she wanted a daughter. She loved her kids. She loved all her kids. But having a daughter to her was something, you know what I'm saying, that she can dress up and everything. And we talked about that. She loved her kids. She was ready for prom. She was ready for them to get older. She was ready to experience those things. And it got robbed from her at the age of 25 on her birthday. On her birthday, where her son was left in the room to find his mother on the floor, deceased. When the cops came in, they got him, and then they found her. And it was very gruesome. I know everybody be like, leave. And I say the same thing. But this is why I say, y'all got to be in y'all friends' business, family business. Come up with a plan to let them know you are here. Come up with it. Like, help them. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you give them your couch. I don't care if you give them the extra bedroom. Help them out to where they don't got to be outside running. Yeah, they have shelters, but it don't feel good if you don't offer. I'll never forget when he told her he was going to do something to her. And I said, why don't you get the kids to just come out here? Like, he can't find you. He don't know where I'm at in Tampa. Tampa's big. And she was like, I'm not going to leave my home. I was like, I tried to talk to her into it. She was like, no, I'm not. And I tried my best that day. And I wish she would have, because she could have packed them kids up and just came. How he was going to find her? How? And then my cousins was always out there. So it was like, well, nobody going to let nothing happen to her. Like, at all. But I just want to say rest in peace to my friend Tiffany. I want to send my prayers to their daughters, to Miss Baker kids. Send my prayers to Shakoya them, because you gotta understand the answers they'll never have. They'll never get an answer from him. You know what I'm saying? They never will. And that's just like with us. We've grieved it. We will never 2013. So yeah, 12 years. We'll never get an answer. Never. We don't know why. The only thing we got, oh, she did that to me and that was a lie. We'll never get an answer. Instead of my friend celebrating her birthday with her kids, which she loved to do, and like her sister say, she had to celebrate in the morgue. Cold. Her body cold with bruises and lacerations. So that's why I go so hard. That's why I try to educate about these new laws, because that man that's sitting in that seat do not give a darn about women abuse. He does not care. He think that is normal. And that's very concerning. Um, it's very concerning to me. So I pulled up his Isaiah Patterson, this Supreme Court of Arizona. The reason I pulled it up and this came up is because not all the details with the court is sealed. I guess because he was trying to get an appeal. He got denied. Okay. Decided on the 12th. He got sentenced. So imagine he was sitting in jail or prison since 2006. They have decided to give him the death penalty on 2012, and this is recent, so they really haven't decided on like what they're gonna do. I think that they're probably waiting on him to rot away in prison, to be honest, than to waste tax dollars on putting him to rest. So I'm sorry, he said in 3 years till his trial. So in 2009, a jury found him guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to death. We the jurisdiction over this automatic appeal. He did an appeal under Section 5.3. We did one in 2012, right? He got an appeal. Now they said, oh, wow, they gave very detailed. Okay, this is very detailed. I want to let you know, if you cannot hear it, it's very gruesome. This is very detailed of what happened. That's why she said a lot of people don't know. It is very detailed, and I think this is why their healing journey. I'm going to read it. Approximately 1:30 a.m. on March 17, 2006, Patterson and Consquelo, his girlfriend, were in his Mesa apartment with their 3-year-old son when they began fighting. They began fighting. A downtown neighbor heard loud crashes and things rolling on the floor. That sounds so familiar. And I got told the story about my friend in 2013. It's the same thing, but the kids were asleep. But he broke into the house. I'll tell the story in October. But we're gonna continue. Yeah. Psychotic. So shout out to Hillsborough County for putting that man away for good. After 10 minutes, the noise stopped. After another 10 minutes or so had passed, Consquelo ran from the apartment naked and screaming for help. Patterson chased Consquelo down out the door common areas of the apartment complex. He caught her in a sand volleyball pit, set over her, and stabbed her 13 times in the face, torso, and arms. The wounds hit her lungs, diaphragm, and spleen. He deep and fractured her arm. Patterson, wow. Oh no, he deserved death. I'm sorry. No, he's right where he needs to be. The wounds perforated her lungs and diaphragm and spleen and fractured her arm. Patterson began unaliving Consquelo until a neighbor awake until hold on, y'all. Consquelo until a neighbor awakened by her screams yelled for him to stop. Consquelo then stumbled from the volleyball pit asking for help before collapsing beneath a bush where she died. Patterson walked back towards his apartment, telling neighbors that's what happens when you turn a hoe into a housewife. Patterson was arrested and indicted for Consquelo's murder. The state sought the death penalty, as they should, finding the Patterson guilty that the crime was especially cruel. Yes, it was. He did issue an appeal. They denied his appeal. Before the trial, the state moved to preclude Patterson from asking prospective jurors what factors they find aggravating, or so he tried to intimidate the jurors as well. He felt like he was above. And that pissed the judge off. Absolutely understandable. I think he didn't have a lawyer, so he wanted to sit here. Oh, that's what it was. The trial court also did not abuse its discretion by requiring Patterson to mention. Okay, but so while reading this, he was basically trying to intimidate the jurors as well with his ways because he didn't have a lawyer. Also, Patterson moved for a mistrial. For what? No, there's no mistrial, sir. Okay. Well, we got a little time. I'll explain it. That's the same. My friend didn't run out the house. She didn't get a chance to, but the neighbors did hear the noise of things breaking and stuff happening, and they heard something like hit a wall. I remember that. I also remember when I looked up his court documents, the things that they found. It was very detailed. Let me see if I can find his thing. It was very detailed as well. When I read it, she died of upper body trauma as well, which is the same as their mom. He did the same thing. I'm trying to see. And shout out to my mom and her family for making sure that she still, remembered. Every month they have a walk every October, domestic violence walk. For her every October every year. They have done numerous of interviews. They've been to the news. They've done a lot. They've done a lot. Let me see. And I think he did an appeal as well. My friend's ex, and his appeal also was denied. I don't blame him. I do not blame them, but that man overkilled that lady, and it sounded like a heat of passion, and that's crazy. That is crazy. Like, he didn't want her with nobody at all. He didn't want her with nobody. And men like that, you have to be careful. He didn't want, like, at all. He didn't want her with nobody. He didn't want her with nobody. And he felt like if she go, His thing was, hey, nobody else can have you. They can't have you, I can't have you. It is what it is. And to me, that is crazy for people to do, because number one, you don't own nobody. Two, you can't control anyone, and anybody has the right to walk away. Making false reports doesn't help. You gotta leave people where they are. You have to leave people where they are. Sad. And people not understanding that, so they feel like, oh, I have to make you love me. I have to make you. No, you don't. You don't. You don't at all. Very sad. No. Where is it? Yep, here it is. Like, when I heard what happened, I was like, he didn't have to do that to her. So I know how they feel. I know the severity of anger. You're angry. Like, you angry. Let me tell you something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you like, why? Like, why would you do that? I don't understand it. So, to my young ladies, he found a lot of appeals. To my young ladies, if you're going through it, let somebody know and figure it out to get some help. I want to thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll be back with another live soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please be safe, take care of yourself, and just be mindful of who you date. Have a nice day.
Roman numeral 7 days, drop it like it's hot. If this world was mine, I'd take it, things and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God.